Vincent Penning.
Yes. Oh, we're live now?
Probably.
Yeah. Cool. Yes, it's me, Vincent Penning.
Vincent Penning.
Yes.
From Holland.
Yes.
Isn't that weird?
Isn't that weird? Yeah, we are very weird.
Yeah.
We're weird people.
Yeah, you are.
Americans are weirder, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do have a good history, with New York.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
The schmoogling.
The schmoogles. I don't think people listening to this will understand the schmoogle. It's a shop thing.
Well, look into it because it's history.
Yeah, that's true. Google schmoogle.
Schmoogle.
You'll find out.
Yeah. So yeah, good having you. And it's not your first time in Denmark.
No, I've been here a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was working at Royal. I don't know when was this. 2 or 3 years ago for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I took over Ron's spot while he was away.
Right.
And now I'm back every now and then for just a week.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun because I like hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, it's good having you.
Yeah, thanks.
And I remember your work from before, I think on like Instagram, but also I think I was first drawn to your work by the paintings because I saw a lot of flash.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Was that before I worked at Royal ever? Because that's...
I'm not sure. I was following a lot of guys from Europe, and so I don't know what came first.
Okay.
Like if it was while you were at Royal or not.
Mm.
But yeah, I definitely was following your work and copying some stuff that you.
Oh, you were?
Of course.
No way. Why?
Yeah.
Just the bad stuff.
There's some tricks. Yeah.
The bad tricks.
But
that's nice to hear.
Yeah. And then when Johannes, my old coworker in Boston, he was carrying your flash, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." And thanks. I think it was just all this weird thing. I don't even know if I knew you were from Holland at all.
No.
I just knew of the work
but
first.
It's funny because we know a few of the same people. We both know Johannes. Of course, we know everybody at Royal. Yeah. When did we meet? That wasn't too long ago.
I think it was when I first started working at Royal.
Yeah. So how long have you been there?
Since November last year.
Okay. Yeah. Could be then. Yeah.
And then you came, I think, shortly after.
Yeah. You were still wet behind the ears.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I was nervous as hell working there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had that the first 6 months, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But it's funny. Yeah, I think you talked. I was listening to you and Saeed yesterday, the podcast. You were talking about being the first guy, how that's the most fun part of it. I think Saeed said that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I kind of agree. It gets easier, but I like to get out of my comfort zone. Yeah. So it's kind of nice to be like, oh, everything is new and there's these great guys around me. And yeah, so you had that then too, huh?
Yeah. Well, definitely. And I always get that whenever I would do like a convention or a guest spot anywhere else. Like I needed to get that first tattoo out of the way, and then I could finally like relax for some reason. Yeah. But in all this time, I always will second guess myself and be like, oh, I don't know if I can tattoo anymore. Yeah. But as soon as I finish that first tattoo, I'm like, oh yeah, what did I worry about?
Yeah.
No. But for me working there, it kind of made me re-question everything, which is a good thing. I think that's why you would travel and go anywhere, because it's not like anybody's doing anything epically different, but when you're in a new environment, new people, you have like a hyper focused view on things.
Yeah, definitely.
That for me at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think now just being there a year, I finally feel kind of comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it feels more like home.
Yeah, it takes a long time because you find out everybody is just people and they're nice and friendly and you hang out with them a lot. Totally. But man, I was always doubting the first 6 months I lived here, taking over Ron's spot because he's a fucking amazing tattooer.
Yeah, he does amazing stuff.
I think it was 3 years ago. I'm tattooing 6 years now. So at the time, I'd only been tattooing 3 years. Wow. And I started working at Royal Tattoo for Henning, and I was looking his stuff up way before I was tattooing, when I was just trying to be one, you know? So that was so overwhelming. And for months and months, I tried to hide it. But I was so fucking insecure, man. Like, everything I did, I was like, somebody comes over, looks over your shoulder, you really want to put your back to them, like, get the fuck out of here.
You're like trying to read their mind, being like, oh, they hate it.
Yeah, they hate it.
Can they just like pull me aside and tell me what's wrong so I can fix this thing?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't have that anymore now.
No. Well, you should.
Yeah, I should. That's why I need to work somewhere else now. But I still have it a little bit, but it becomes more comfortable.
Yeah, I think you become more comfortable being uncomfortable, I guess.
Maybe that's... Oh, you're deep. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. At least that's how I look at it. And it's obviously... No one likes to be uncomfortable. And so I think that's obviously going to get...
No. But wait. I do like being uncomfortable.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I don't know.
You know you're alive.
I know. So...
But it's amazing to me that we talked about this before, but you've only been tattooing 6 years.
Yeah.
And so it kind of blew me away because when I first found out you weren't tattooing, that long.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 years is a long time, but
not really.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's like I thought you were tattooing, as long as I was or something.
How long have you been tattooing?
20
oh,
years.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a weird sense of time.
Yeah.
Just like,
right.
I just assume everything's the same
as
me, or better.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely new to this whole thing in my mind still. I'm still figuring everything out.
Yeah.
I think maybe it took me 5 years to even feel like, okay, I can actually do this at one point in my life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that 5-year mark is crazy.
Yeah.
But the one thing that you have now that I didn't have at 5 years is like kind of a style that you're going towards.
Yeah.
It's taken me forever to kind of figure out that. And for the longest time, I've always been like the all-round guy, like whatever comes in the shop.
That's funny because what I know from you is pretty Brian MacNeil. If I see something online, or today there was a dragon you were working on in the shop, I see that right away. Yeah, like, that's Brian's.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's good to hear.
Yeah, in a good way, because it could be like, oh, that shit, that must be Brian's.
Well, in the back of my head, I'm always thinking like, I'm pretty sure they recognize where that reference came from.
I had a funny thing in San Diego. I was working at the Invitational. I put down some flash there, and there was a tattooer. I don't remember who it was, but he walked by, and then he kind of walked backwards again, looked at my work, and he's like, oh, you are Vincent Penning, because I was walking by and I thought, that looks like a Vincent Penning dragon.
Oh, wow. And
that was cool to hear. We had a good talk. And then he left. And then it hit me like, it could be like that shitty dragon. Maybe he means, that's a terrible fucking dragon. That must be from Vincent Penning.
I doubt it.
I don't know if it's a good thing or not, if people recognize.
No, I think it's good. Yeah, it's good to be recognized because there's so many different people tattooing. If you can stand out in any way.
I took it as a compliment, but that was a short moment where I was like,
I would take it as a win for that one. Yeah. Had you been to the States before?
No, that was the first time.
Yeah, and
you guys eat a lot of food.
Yeah,
there's a lot of food.
Do you notice our portions? Like
the portions, yeah.
You can take it home.
Yeah, I know. I took a lot of it home. Yeah. I took like 3/4 of my meals home sometimes.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man. Like, and everything's so greasy but so good.
It's a dangerous thing.
It is.
But the first time I traveled to Europe, I went to England, and I was upset at the portions.
But their kitchen sucks anyway.
Yeah.
So you don't want a lot of that. You just want the small portions of that shit.
But I noticed that where I was like, well, that's it? And, that's...
Yeah.
Like, I need more,
Okay.
Where's my doggy bag? And so it took me a while to, after coming here a while and figuring out, like, oh, okay, we are fucking pigs in America.
Yeah, you are. No, I liked it. I enjoyed the food there, and but I did feel bad sometimes because it's a lot of waste.
Mm-hmm.
Like throwing away food is.
If you don't,
I'm conscious of that. I'm conscious of that, and I was throwing away so much food, and it made me feel like a pig. Exactly. Like, man, there's people, a lot of like millions of people that would kill for this stuff that I'm throwing away now. It's crazy.
Right.
But no, beside the food, it was a great experience. I loved. Well, I was just in San Diego, so I loved San Diego. I loved the people. Were so friendly.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been to San Diego.
Yeah, I hear it's different in different states. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
But there, everybody was nice and friendly. Everybody's talking, chatting.
Was this just at the convention or
no,
like
everywhere
outside?
Yeah,
non-tattooers.
Tattooers too. The convention was great. But I do think maybe that's just San Diego. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But that was one of my favorite things there because back in Holland, everybody's a bit more to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they're nice. We're nice and friendly. But
you're polite.
If you buy a pack of cigarettes, they don't say, "Hey, how are you? How's your day? Nice tattoos, whatever." That made me feel like, I don't know, positive.
You were like a human being.
Yeah, exactly. not another pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. And that was the very first invitational Bill Canales did, right?
Yeah.
And then you worked at his shop afterwards?
I think it was before. Like 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks at his shop, and then the 3 days there. My friend Sjoerd from the shop back in Holland, Oneness Studio, he came over, and then we had a 5-day holiday and just sightseeing.
Cool.
It was great.
Very cool. How was working with Bill?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Scary, but I just told you I like scary.
Yeah.
So he really helped me with my dragons a lot because, you know a Bill dragon when you see one.
Yeah, totally.
So I asked him, I was staying at his house too, so there was plenty of time for me to ask him, "Hey, you want to check out my dragons?" And he destroyed them. Like the first 1, 2, 3, I don't know, I showed him. The first one I said, "Hey, do you want to help me with my dragons? Because I'm not good at them." He looked at it or them. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know if it was one or more, but the first thing he said was, "You weren't kidding."
not even like a nice comment in the beginning.
No, but that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because then I think we sat down for at least 2 nights, and he explained a lot of things to me. I still don't like them. I still think mine suck, but I did the Andre Malcolm course.
Okay.
Not course, but like a seminar. What do you call it in English?
Yes. Yeah. Is it like a workshop seminar type?
Yeah, workshop, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that
I did
was at the convention? Or
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that working with Bill was great. He's a fantastic guy, a great person, human being, and a great tattooer.
Right.
And I think my dragons really got a lot better there over the course of 2 or 3 weeks.
Right. What did you focus on, like head or body or whatever?
Mostly, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy. He just explained everything to me. There's guys that have been tattooing that long that don't want to share.
Yeah.
But he shared all that he knew.
He's been at it for like 30 years.
I wouldn't know, but a long time. Yeah.
I remember when I first started tattooing, seeing his flash on the walls, and I mean it was dated back before. I don't know. Definitely in the 90s, probably more. I would imagine. I just saw a video recently online of him just drawing a dragon head. Yeah. No sketch or anything like that. No,
he does that shit with just a brush pen from scratch, and they're amazing.
Yeah. It blows my mind.
Yeah. But
one day.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I really got to work hard to get to that level, but it was great. His shop's great too. Everybody's super nice, friendly. I had quite a few fun projects, small one-shots or whatever. Nice tips in the States. Yeah, we don't tip in Holland.
No, you don't. You don't tip in Denmark either.
No.
I recently forgot about that when I went back to Boston.
Yeah.
And like my clients were giving me tips, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
I love this."
I didn't get it at first. The first customer gave me. I'm just kind of guessing.
Don't be talking about numbers, man.
Oh. It was like Schmugel.
A Schmugel.
Over 600 Spugels. Anyway, yeah, you're right. I told him, like, are you sure? And I made it a thing. Like, is this guy crazy? I think the shop manager poked me or something. I'm like, oh, yeah, they do that here.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So it would be a good thing to return to the States maybe and do another guest spot.
Yeah, I want to go back to the States. I have travel plans, big ones.
Yeah.
I don't know when yet because I have I wouldn't say obligations back home.
Yeah.
On paper I could leave right now.
Right.
But we moved the shop from being a private studio to a walk-in one about 1 year ago. And I don't want to leave until that's up and running completely. But then I want to go to the States and I don't know, just maybe rent a van, go from west to east. I don't have a big plan yet, but work at different shops, not know when I'm going back home. That sort of life. Yeah.
Yeah. We did it for a month, Luana and I, and it was great. I think I worked at 9 different shops, 2 days each. Yeah. And we were thinking about it. We could probably done it for another 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, sounds good.
It was a lot of fun. We didn't get tired of it.
No. Did you just drove around and slept at
we slept in Walmart parking lots.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
But we did it in like a Camry, like a 4-door Camry.
Yeah.
So it would be much better in a van.
Yeah.
And then we did Airbnb.
Was it liberating in a way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me rethink why I stay in one place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't know actually how you could continue doing it on long term. Because I don't know. I've never done it, but I would imagine maybe not many shops would be so open to constantly having somebody coming and going, or maybe they would. I haven't really looked into it, but like I know Timothy Hoyer's doing something like that, but he's doing a lot of painting as well. And I haven't talked to him much about.
Would you want to do that? I mean, you're here now.
Yeah. I talk with Luana all the time, and I talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, no, you have to be in one place.
Yeah.
And, you have to make clientele in one place. And then the other side of me is like,
oh, yeah.
Fuck it. Let's go and live my life and be free.
Yeah, I have
be
the
a
same.
hippie,
I have the same, okay, I don't know the English word. Like the battle inside of your head.
Struggle.
The struggle, yeah.
The struggle's real.
Yeah.
But because we did it a month, it didn't seem like too threatening to my lifestyle.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But then you definitely felt a different freedom. Like the first week or so, it's all new, and then going to each shop is kind of weird because a lot of places I didn't know.
Yeah.
It was just places where I had talked to friends and they suggested I go and talk to them, or they made a call for me ahead of time. And I made a lot of great friends and people that I still, keep in touch with online.
Yeah, fantastic. How many shops did you work at?
I think it was 9 in total.
That's a lot in a short period of time.
Yeah, so I did about 2 days at each shop.
Yeah.
And then I scheduled enough time for driving and then enough time for sightseeing. We went to Graceland and what else? We went to some underground caverns and got a tour, this personal tour. It was actually funny because we arrived at this place looking for some hotel, but there was just really shady Bates style motel. And we were like, no, I'd rather just sleep in a parking lot. And so we slept in the parking lot of this, underground cavern place, and there was a campground. And I was thinking, because I've done this before, where you just drive into the campground and sleep for the night, and the next day you pay. And there was nowhere to pay, so I was like, fuck it, we'll just sleep in the parking lot and get up. And we woke up because all the commotion of people opening up the businesses, and we got up and we were like, oh, can we use the bathroom? And they're like, yeah, sure. And we just put on a fresh cup of coffee. Do you want coffee? And we're like, hell yeah. So we slept free for the night in the car.
Nice.
Got free coffee, used the bathroom, washed up, and then got a personal tour of these underground caverns.
Yeah.
It was
how was that for you, Luana? Cool. Yeah, she's thumbs up.
This is our conversation all the time of like, get in the van.
Yeah.
And I'm on board, but I'm like, I waffle,
yeah. I think, my first idea, so where it comes from, I love traveling, but I had a girlfriend for 12 years and we were going to do the whole, kids and house and whatever. So that got fucked up because of me. And so at that pretty much exact moment, I thought, I got to leave. I got to get out of here. And that was about 8 months ago. But I figured, I shouldn't do it because I'm just running away from my problems. I feel way better now, but I still want to leave. So, but what you're saying, I've had that same struggle in my head. Like, well, I'm not going to build up anything anywhere. I don't have the retirement plan. I don't have anything. But it's getting stronger than, the freedom idea of freedom is getting way stronger than that idea. I don't care anymore. Yeah. But when I told Darko, who was my teacher and the owner of the shop, when I told him I want to leave, he was really, really cool about it. We still got to talk about when. It's going to be a while from now. And he said, well, you should go for a few months, not knowing you're coming back, but then come back, do 2 or 3 months here, and then you can leave again, not for the shop, but for myself. The shop there, Holland, my home. Go back if I want, have my clientele, because that's, why I would be afraid to leave, I guess, and still travel. And then I kind of have both. I don't know if it works, but in theory, that would be the best way to go.
Yeah, I think the only way to do it is just do it, really, because there's nothing pre-made about it. I mean, there's a big movement of people like traveling and living in vans and stuff. Yeah. But for tattooers, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing really laid out.
No.
So.
But it's funny how your mind works, because I want it to be that kind of experience where I don't know what I'll be doing 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
But still, you think about it and then you make up plans and schemes and you're like, I'm going to go there and then I'm going to buy this and go to Canada and then I'll come back after 6 months. And then I kind of catch myself like, okay, this wasn't why I wanted to do this. I don't want the whole thing planned out. I just want to go. But right. It's good to think about, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a little bit of a plan. For me, the biggest thing that freaks me out is like the funding it, because I'm like, well, what if I can't find shops to work at, and what if I spend all my savings? And because I mean, I've done that before when I was like in my early 20s, where I just work my ass off and then burn out my savings, and it's fine then, but I'm getting closer to 40, I guess. And so I'm thinking like, well, I don't have a retirement plan.
It gets scarier and scarier, doesn't it?
But that's the time to do it, right? Because I mean, do it now because you may not do it later.
Yeah.
And then I think my mother gave me the best advice when I was thinking about moving to Europe in the beginning, and she said, "Well, what are you going to wish you did? Go and have that experience, or like, on your deathbed being like, oh, I wish I put more hours in at the shop."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah,
that's true.
Definitely good perspective there.
It's true. And I've been reading interesting books that help with the right mindset, not just for traveling, but for life.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of them is the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, which is, very much about the now.
Yeah.
And I got to say, that helps me with worrying less and less about these things too, like retirement, the stuff you own. You don't really own anything. Yeah. It's just there until you're dead, or it burns, or you give it away, or you sell it. It's just, everything is so temporary. So, man, I hope 3 years from now I'll be a fucking hippie.
Yeah.
Not caring about what I own, just traveling the world as my home.
Yeah.
But you can't force that. So.
Yeah. Oh, so when we decided to move here, that was in our mind of like downsizing as much as possible. I still have a bunch of artwork and books in storage back in the States. And every time I go to visit, I like get rid of a little bit more. And so I'm slowly kind of like getting used to the idea of getting rid of those like really treasured things. But eventually I'd like to get rid of most of it. And
could be liberating sometimes.
I had one situation where there was a big flood at my parents' house.
Yeah.
And while I was traveling around a bunch, I had a bunch of like drawings, sketchbooks, photos, all in storage in the basement. And when it flooded, the whole thing, everything got ruined. So I had a big chest, like a Rubbermaid chest.
Yeah.
And there was a hole at the bottom.
Oh, shit.
So the whole thing filled up with water.
Okay.
And then when I got to it, it was one big chunk of paper and photos. And it was like, fuck, I wish I could still have those things. And at the same time, it was a relief. It's like, there's one less thing I got to think about.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And and it was right around the same time where that Katrina had hit. And I was like, well, I kind of put myself in their shoes in a way. Yeah. Like, very small because I just lost, essentially memories. But these people lost houses. But it kind of put me in that thing of like being okay with getting rid of things, because I was like, okay, I'm fine.
It's nice, super cool that you recognize that. There's a thought experiment, or whatever you want to call it. Say you own a lot of stuff, and you worked for it forever, and then your house burns down. You have no insurance. Everybody you love is still alive, but everything's gone. If that happens, there's supposedly, I've never had my house burned down. I don't even have a house. But supposedly there's a small moment where between the shock and the depressed part, where you're like, okay, it's all gone now.
Thank
okay.
God.
Yeah, no, not thank God, but like a moment of liberation. I read about this.
Yeah.
So there's people that had that happen, and they're like, there was that small moment where I was just happy, like I got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, you're like, oh man, and you start thinking about it.
I need that again.
Yeah. I'll tell you, after my ex broke up with me, I gave her everything. We didn't own much, but all the stuff that we bought together, I was like, fuck that. And then I moved in to a temporary building where I still live. And my first idea was, I'm not going to buy a lot. I don't need anything. But then I had this moment of, oh, fuck, I need to, I don't know, prove myself or something. I don't know why. But I went to the IKEA. I bought a lot of stuff. Just I grabbed this girl by the arm, basically, and started pointing at shit. Like, I want that bad. And she's like, oh, so you want, like, it consists of these and these parts. Now give me everything. I want that couch. I spent so much money there. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But just materialism, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I had it, and I was happy for I don't know, 3 hours. And then I made a stain on the couch. And then I thought, fuck, this couch is new. I got to clean it. I started cleaning it and scrubbing it. And I thought, what the fuck, man? Before I had all this stuff, I didn't have this problem. There was no problem at all. I just had an empty,
you start resenting
empty
that couch.
room. And now I was like, I started disliking all the stuff I own. I've been thinking about selling pretty much everything but the necessary stuff.
Yeah.
Because you don't need a lot, man.
Yeah, Luana sold a lot of stuff on Facebook, actually.
Yeah.
And we made a killing. We made, I don't know, we made a lot.
I am also thinking about giving away stuff just to do that. But we'll see how I feel when I leave.
Yeah, so far we just have like hand-me-down stuff and secondhand. And I'm fine with that. Right. It gives me anxiety now if we have to like buy a new thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's another thing that if we move, I'm going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
So
I guess we got the same mindset. Yeah. I think a lot of tattooers do.
Yeah. Care
less about stuff and more about experiences, I guess. They're way more important.
Yeah. But you were saying earlier about like reading. I do a lot of reading in the morning.
Yeah.
I like to kind of like set my mind straight before I start the day. Because if I like wake up and just fucking go to work or, I don't prepare myself, then like nothing goes right. And so I read a lot of those kind of like similar style books.
Cool.
And it kind of sets the tone of the day for me. And it doesn't have to be like necessarily like deep, but like something thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Just to kind of switch my...
Wake you up or something.
Yeah. And not necessarily get caught up in my own shit, I guess. It's like, it reminds me of like what's important. And yeah, I like that. And I usually just sit for like, half an hour or something. And then start the day.
That's good.
But I didn't do it this morning. I woke up super late.
Yeah.
Day went okay, but but I definitely missed it.
Except you fucked up that tattoo today.
I fucked it up.
Oh,
sorry,
terrible.
my friend.
That's how I saw I Was Your Dragon.
Like, it's so wonky and weird.
It's so shit.
Why are the colors?
Did you read this morning? Nah.
But I think it's important. I don't think many people do it. I mean, maybe a lot of people do it. And
I think a lot of people read for sure. But
not
a lot
like
of people
self-development type of thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's good. I've only recently discovered that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because I was feeling like shit for months. But I've always read. I love weird science fiction stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this sort of thing, I think it's my roommate who gave this book to me, and then I started reading that sort of. How did you call it?
I guess like a self-development. I don't know.
Yeah, self-development.
Yeah,
it works. Yeah.
And I don't think it's anything brand new. Like all those books that I've read were like pretty much the same idea, but just in different things. Like, it could be like the Buddhist thing, or like, some weird doctor or psychologist.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
live in the now. That's it.
How do I do that?
Yeah. Well, and then you get like 1,500 different books and shit to be able to do that. Yeah.
And they all tell you the same thing.
Yeah, but it's so hard.
Yeah.
Man.
So tell me about Darko's place, because you're kind of a rarity in a way. Because he's your mentor. Yeah. And you're still working with him. In my experience, like as soon as like someone gets enough, experience, they're like, see you later. And I mean, but not you.
He's been so good for me, man.
But it's a rarity in the industry, I guess. But
he's a rarity in the industry. There was a bunch of people. So when I wanted to be a tattooer, but didn't know how. I started drawing that a lot. I was still studying. I finished that study too, by the way. But there were a lot of people that like bet. I don't want to insult anybody.
You don't have to mention their name.
No, I was going to say bad tattooers.
Oh.
So bad tattooers that were like, well, you can come work at my shop now. You don't have to wait for Darko. I wouldn't say a lot. Maybe, I'm saying a lot, but maybe it was 2, 3. And I thought, no, I want to go to Darko because he is definitely a rarity in his whole being. It's hard to explain that guy.
Yeah.
His mindset, he's super mellow, super helpful, super supportive. And I don't think I could have gotten that anywhere else. My apprenticeship was old school in a way where it's like, you got to put in the work. I got like the Mr. Miyagi shit, like drive people around, pick up people at the airport, but also it wasn't that old school because he was super easy going, and like if I fucked up at first, the first couple of weeks, I definitely fucked up 1 or 2 tattoos. Yeah, I thought, okay, he's gonna fire me, but even then he's like, yeah, better next time, and give me some hints and tips. And so I don't know where I want to go with this story. I just why I still work there, because I do feel obligated, not because I am, but because I want to stay there for long enough until I can think, okay, I did well for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. I mean,
it's hard to explain.
It makes total sense for me because you're paying back. Like, it's a gratitude.
Yeah, I'm paying back. Yeah.
It's a gratitude.
And I love being there. It's not that I don't want to be there.
No, it just
go to the shop every day happy because I got great colleagues and great teacher. He's not my teacher anymore in that sense, but he always will be, I guess.
Yeah, it just sounds to me that you have other things in your life that you want to do as well.
But let me. I know a good story. Yeah. After 2 years, I found out. I always wanted to go to Australia to do a backpacking thing for 6 months, like ever since I was 18. But then, like, Academy of Fine Arts happened, then tattooing happened, so I never got the time. And you can only go there on a cheap, easy visa before you're 30, I think, or 31.
Okay.
It's called the Working Holiday Visa. So I found out that I only have 6 months left or a year left. And I tell Darko, and I was supposed to be his apprentice for 4 years, be in the shop at all times, like, pay my dues. But he said, well, if you want to go there, just go there. If it's, just do it. Yeah. And I did. So who in the right mind would tell this guy that he put all his energy in after 2 years instead of 4 years, no, it's okay, you can fuck off as long as you come back. Right. And then with Henning, I asked Henning, that was a year later. So I still had 2 years to go. Right. Because we didn't count that 6 months. With Henning, I asked Henning for a week. And he was like, yeah, you can come work here for 6 months. So I tell Darko, well, I got another thing now. And Darko was like, yeah, of course, man, go work with Henning. You're going to learn a lot. Right. But when you come back, you got to come back here. Yeah. So I think that pretty much describes what kind of a teacher he is. So how easygoing and yeah.
Well, it's attractive that way, because if he was to put obstacles in your way, then obviously you'd be like, oh, fuck this guy and never come back, Maybe. Maybe
not. I don't know.
Well, I think a majority of people would. Yeah. Just like...
Majority of people are assholes. I'm an asshole too, by the way. You just don't know it yet.
I might do the same. Fuck you, I'm leaving. But I would say that to my friends, but the reality would be like, oh, can I go?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I told him this.
I know how it works.
Yeah. I think I told you stories about me, and you were even there. No. You're like, Brian, that didn't happen.
It didn't happen at all.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
You're not that cool.
No, not at all. I know that for sure.
No, you are. You're cool.
I'm definitely confident in knowing I'm not as cool.
Well, you got that going for you. That's nice.
At least I know where I stand.
Yeah. No.
But I like having fun and experiencing shit.
Yeah. How did your apprenticeship go?
I didn't really have
56 years
much
ago.
of one. I was honestly looking for one.
Yeah.
And I think I probably shared this before, but tattooing wasn't legal in Massachusetts. And so I was pretty much scratching on my friends. And then I was like, I'm never going to get good, and I need to make it like legitimate. And so I moved away to the first place I could find. And I ended up finding a shop. I went to a bunch of different shops and everybody said no. But I went to one and they said, well, we're not looking for an apprentice, we're looking for an artist. And so they gave me an opportunity to work.
Okay.
And so it was kind of like getting thrown to the wolves. And he basically worded it as, if you don't fuck up, you don't get fired. And I was like, okay.
That's scary, man.
I'll take that. But I mean, I was young. I think I was 18.
Yeah, super eager.
And yeah, I was like, this is the only opportunity I have. Okay, I'll do it. But when I look back at it, I was still like scrubbing the guy's tubes and like helping him run the shop. Like there was a lot of times where he wasn't even there. He had some legal problems where he couldn't be in that town for amount of time. But for me, I was like, me and the other guy were running the shop, doing all the, ordering and all this stuff. So I was essentially running a shop before I knew how to work in one. And I was just learning from the other guy. And whenever my boss would come to town, I would just try to like pick up some stuff from him. And that was it. And the only reason why I didn't stick around is because there was like little to no work. I was doing like $30 names.
Oh, whoa.
And probably doing maybe 3 of them a week. So I needed something, because I noticed that the more tattoos I did in a small amount of time, I was getting better. I could see like a result. But if I did something like once a week or once every 2 weeks, I would always like start where I would start from the beginning again. Mm-hmm. Like I would be like, oh, everything feels weird. So I just moved on and moved to the next shop that I could find that would take me.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
So
yeah, it's not
it's kind of an apprenticeship.
Kind of
not. Yeah.
Yeah. It
worked out for you.
Yeah. I always look at it as maybe I wasn't given a lot, but what I was given was a lot of time to figure out things on my own. Yeah. So I think I'm a lot better at problem solving. So I'll look at something and like tinker with like the machine and then figure things out. So I was like tuning my own machines, doing all the springs, replacing anything that needed to be replaced. And every tattoo and every situation was like a different experience, because I would mess with something, or I was making my own needles.
A lot of troubleshooting on your own, I guess.
Yeah,
that's cool. Especially there's no like internet.
Yeah, I mean there was,
but not as much as there is now. Much
there was
information.
No searching the web. There was really like no one had websites.
I think all you had were these websites where you keep scrolling down and there's like flashy stars and shit. You know the ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, like the ones that you have to dodge ads.
Yeah,
while you're looking at it. Yeah. I think they had the BME. I think it's called like the body modification thing. I don't know. It was like a forum, and at that time the only thing I needed the internet for was an email. Yeah, and I didn't use it for business. I just used it to keep in touch with friends that I had left in Boston. I don't even think it made sense to me to even use it then. Advertising, because during that time I was doing collages. I would do like picture collages of like my tattoos, and then I would find the Dover books, like the clip art books, and I would make little collages with tattoos by Brian
of your work,
my work, but also like I was making banners. And then I'd photocopy those, make an original, and then reprint them, and then put them all over the city. Right. So that was my advertising. Yeah, back then. Nice. But everything was done on a photocopier. Yeah.
But you worked in a lot of shops then, traveled around.
Yeah, after there I moved to Philadelphia, worked there 3 years, and then I moved. Very shortly, it was like I went to Jersey, and it was just not like a place. Like I didn't really mix with the guys there. They were into like souping up their cars and talking about girls they were never gonna have sex with. Okay, it was just one of those things where I was just like, I gotta get out of here.
I like talking about girls.
Yeah, I like talking about girls too, but.
I know what you mean.
It's too much in the fantasy realm. I guess it's easy, buddy. You don't got what it takes to get that.
No, I guess I know. It doesn't have to be them. Even like sometimes it doesn't match. Yeah, in a way,
it didn't match, and there wasn't much work. And then right around that time, it finally got legalized to tattoo in Boston. Right. And I went to Cobra Custom. Are you familiar with that? No. It's Forrest Cavaco is the owner. He and another shop, Fat Roms, were like I think the 2 to first open in Massachusetts. Right. And I think there's like a dispute of like who was the first.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to me it doesn't matter.
It's like, silly.
Yeah, it's silly. But so they were one of the first, and I remember Forrest because at the time I was tattooing underground in Boston, before it was legal, and he was doing the same thing in a town called Plymouth. So I didn't know anything about Japanese work at the time, but I knew of his work, and so whenever anybody came to me, I would send it to him, and so we became like in communication that way. And so once tattooing finally became legal, he opened up his own shop. Right. So I went there to introduce myself and say like, oh, I'm the guy that, sent you this work. and he wanted to look at the portfolio. Then we got to talking about guest spots.
Yeah.
And eventually I think I had mentioned in passing, like, oh, it'd be really cool to work here.
Yeah,
and he was just like, well, why don't you? And I was there for about 8 years, and he was really good to me too. Kind of like what you were saying with Darko.
Yeah.
Is, I think I was working there maybe 2 or 3 years, and then I decided to move to Italy for 4 years. And they were really good about keeping my clients for me.
Nice.
And so I would just say, like, I'm going to come back for 3 months. And they would book me solid for 3 months. Okay,
that's rare that they don't.
Yeah, and it's super nice.
Like, I've heard stories where somebody leaves, works in the next town even, and the shop tells the customers, yeah, he's not here anymore.
Right.
He moved to, I don't know, the North Pole.
Yeah, and I didn't leave on bad terms. It was just like, and I wasn't leaving to go work at a different shop. I was going to study, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I decided to go to college, I guess, or whatever. And so I would go to school and then come back and just work my ass off, try to recoup the money that I'd spent not working. And then, I think they booked me like 6 days a week with like 1 day free. And it was great because, you know, I could make the money, and they were always looking out for me. So they did that for like 4 years for me. And then I went back for another year, kind of the same thing you were saying, like, you know, in gratitude, like work again. And, I really enjoyed working with the guys there. Awesome. But around that time, I started working more in Japanese stuff, maybe because Forrest does a lot of Japanese, and getting inspired by that. There's definitely a lot of that work around me. And then I kind of reached a point where I was like, all right, if I'm going to pursue this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it here. Yeah. Because he's so well known for it that I probably have to go out on my own. Yeah. And it was kind of tough, you know, but we still talk from time to time, but definitely not as close as we used to be. Was that
just before you moved to Henning, or?
No, because I went to like someplace in Providence, and then I went back into the city of Boston. Yeah. And that's where I was able to kind of recreate myself in a way. Yeah. And I started working more like full time again, tattooing.
Yeah. Oh wait, I know which shop that was.
Yeah, Regeneration. Yeah, Regeneration. And also Good Faith. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, there, and it was great for me there because I was able to do pretty much exclusively Japanese stuff. Yeah.
How did you end up at Henning? Because I think after I left, after those 6 months, he had a few people come and go, and then you came, and you were pretty much taking that spot, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I replaced Ron. I guess
for Ron. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's pretty big shoes to fill, right?
I know.
So
we're really kissing Ron's ass. Yeah. Fuck you, Ron. We hate you.
Fuck you, Ron. So yeah, Henning had posted something on Instagram. Yeah. And I sent Luana like a message in the post and wrote to her, "Do you want to move to Denmark?"
Shit, yeah.
And she wrote back to me, "I'm packing my bags right now."
Yeah.
And then Henning...
That's amazing.
Henning had seen it, and he, I think, took a liking to it. Yeah. And I had known Tyoba, because I had sold him pins. You know, I was doing those little pins. Yeah. I worked with the girl that does the Wild Tiger pins. And so I kind of was in communication with Tyoba over selling those pins. And I'd known Henning from years back, maybe like 15 years at conventions, but never thought he would remember me. Okay. And then he was like, I sent him an email, and he said, yeah, come on over. And it was perfect timing because we were already going to Italy. I just needed to buy a plane ticket from Italy to Denmark. So I worked 2 days just to kind of get a feel for it. I was able to do a really cool tiger head on a chest. Nice. And I was like, yeah, this is a cool shop. And he was like, yeah, if you can make it work, we'd love to have you. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make everything I can do to happen.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how it happened. And that's how I'm here.
It's cool, man. Even that you, Luana, said, "Yeah, let's go right away."
Yeah, she was ready to come back.
Pretty big deal.
To Europe in general.
And okay, it was the right time.
It was the right time. Yeah, and my mind was, I want to see the world. I want to travel.
Yeah.
And so if I'm in Boston, the town that I grew up in, I'm not seeing the world.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
But I was very comfortable there.
Yeah.
You know, I had all my friends and family there, but I'm not seeing the world.
No.
And so I was like, all right, I'm going to get uncomfortable again. And do it.
I guess this keeps coming back in this episode.
I hope you were very uncomfortable listening.
Yes. I hope we make you feel uncomfortable. I'm holding his dick right now.
Yes.
But no, we keep coming back to, I guess, getting out of your comfort zone. And it's I think people are, in general, I'm just generalizing, but a lot of people fall into the trap of, oh, this feels safe.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do this thing for the rest of my life.
Right.
Obviously, I'm gonna be tattooer until I can't, but it moves you forward.
Yeah,
totally. I mean, your work has improved definitely, right?
I think it's improved since I got in here. Yeah. Yeah,
it was great already, but it's I can see improvement there.
Yeah, I think it dropped. Actually.
Oh yeah.
When I first got here.
Okay.
And it was more of a confidence thing.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then once I started feeling comfortable again, then I started to see like, okay, you know, it's the confidence and the comfortability all kind of came together.
I feel like sometimes if you get all this new stuff like inspiration, people around you, new information, I guess. I don't know if it's the same with you, but what happens with me is I try all these different little things. I paint them mostly and draw them, but I try them in tattoos, and it becomes a bit of a mess. Yeah, like then it drops a bit, and like all these, it becomes a bit chaotic. I guess you don't know what you're doing because you got all these people saying all these things, and you're taking a bit from this and there. But then after a while, it kind of comes together.
Right.
You pick the things that work for you. You leave out, subconsciously, mostly, leave out the things that don't work for you, might work for someone else. And then it improves again. Isn't that, maybe that's it?
I think so. Because you have so many different influences and inputs that it's very difficult to put them into one single thought.
Yeah. I guess you need time to process it. That's the best way to put it.
Definitely. Yeah. But it's better you do it on painting, I guess.
Yeah. I try.
And not so much the tattooing. Keep it safe in the tattooing.
No, yeah. I like painting a lot. It's it clears your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives you that opportunity to do something
I still do what I still try to do something that I would do on someone.
Yeah.
I'm not very crazy with my paintings, I guess. It's a studying opportunity.
Yeah.
But you paint a lot, and you make crazy good realistic paintings that people don't know about.
No.
That they should.
I hide it.
Where can they find them?
You can find it on my website.
Okay.
It's just
whoever's listening, go to his website now.
If you listen to the other podcast, you already know.
Oh yeah, that might be true.
But
that blew my mind right there when you showed me that.
Yeah. I mean, I hide it, but lately, what I've been thinking is like how I can use my time most effectively.
Yeah.
And so lately, I've been thinking like kind of what you were saying now about making a painting for a tattoo, because I've been doing like drawings and color studies for tattoos separate from the paintings, and like I almost never have a desire to do the painting as a tattoo. It's just a standalone.
Yeah.
But now I've been thinking maybe I should do them both at the same time. So like do the painting, like Flash, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it's intended for.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
So yeah, I don't do.
But
too much of that.
You're still talking about the realistic paintings, or
no,
paintings in general? Yeah.
Yeah, just paintings in general.
Yeah. Okay, like the dragon you did last time I was here. That could be a tattoo, but the layout was for a painting. That's what you mean. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so instead of doing it as a layout just for a painting, like maybe redesign it. So maybe it has the same kind of qualities, but it could also be tattooed.
That would definitely. That's how I try to do it. But It depends on what you're trying to do, because I find it's the best way to study for me.
Totally.
Draw and paint. And it clears the mind no matter how you do it, if you make it one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's, on the other hand, that dragon you made is nice on the wall. Yeah. Nicer than just a tattoo design in itself.
Yeah, it was never intended to be a tattoo, but it was tattoo influenced.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you should.
Yeah.
It work. Flash works. People buy Flash.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Maybe less now. I don't know.
I think people buy it more as a collection, not so much to use.
No, I do that. But I was saying that, and now I'm just thinking, isn't it going down because of everybody's got their iPad? Oh, you can buy ebooks and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember in early days of conventions. For me, I would just sell out of prints.
Oh yeah.
I'd make a killing on prints, and they weren't even good high quality prints. You would just go to the copy machine store, get color copies, and people were just going crazy, and they weren't good either.
Oh, okay.
So, and then now it's like it's hard to even give them away.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. No, but I guess it stays in the tattoo circle for sure. Yeah. Whenever I sell painting, it's always to another artist.
Right.
But they still use it though. I have a lot of Flash. Some with Johannes.
Yeah.
And some with Gentleman's Tattoo Flash.
Okay, cool.
But I can see people using it, and sometimes I find a picture. Someone tags me. They use one of my koi or one of my whatever, and I think it's amazing that they do that. So it still happens.
No, I had the same thing happen, and there was some shop recently. I think you were probably tagged in as well, but they just filmed the whole shop, and it was just filled. It was just filled with Flash from Tattoo or Johannes's Tattoo Flash Collective. And it was cool, and then I got tagged as well. Like people actually tattooed some of the designs, and it's funny how people get upset when people do that too.
Oh yeah,
I've worked with some people who like do Flash, and they find it tattooed, and they're like, oh motherfucker.
No, I have books like sketchbooks that I bought, and I don't trace that stuff.
No,
but still I buy it, and then in the front it says, these are not meant to be used as reference because they're designs made for customers or something like that. I have a few of those. And every time I read it, I'm like, why the fuck did you make a book then? I mean, this is supposed to be me giving you money and then buying some designs that I could use. And, say I'm grateful whenever somebody does that or copies it or uses. I had a sketchbook out quite a while ago, and I still because it bothered me, I put in the front, please use this, and this is my email, send the pictures to me, and I still get them every now and then. Like they're pretty shit drawings. This was a long time ago, but I like that.
Oh, I finally figured out what I was going to say.
See, you don't need it.
No, I don't. I don't need it at all. But the sketchbook that I showed you guys the other day.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of maybe copying those. It's just like all my ballpoint pen sketches.
Yeah, that will work.
And then I don't know if anybody would want to buy it, but it's just mindless sketches, like possible ideas for tattoos or paintings.
I would buy that. We were all joking like how much for that sketchbook right here, right now. And I think the first Ichibe one was like that. It was just all like drawings and doodles and shit. And definitely, I'd buy your sketchbook. You said there's people that don't like their stuff being used if they put it in a sketchbook. And now there's a lot of shit on online, like Instagram, where somebody copies something, not 100%, but uses it as reference, and sometimes way too much. Like you can tell, okay, this is that tattoo from that person, and it becomes like an online war or something, where they get bashed and everybody's involved, and a lot of people commenting and reposting like, look at this bitch stealing my friend's work. And I don't get it because, first of all, it's out there. I mean, it's not like you can look at it, but you can't really look at it, you know? And of course, you know, you don't want to copy a tattoo. It's bad manners. You don't do that. It's already on someone else. But to make such a big deal out of it, I always go, oh, fuck. Yeah. Just take it easy. I mean, in a way, it's an honor that somebody's using. It's happened to me. Like someone tried to copy something and it looks like shit, but still, like, well, at least someone's looking at my stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel kind of the same as you with that, where, yeah, it's out there. Obviously, you don't want to plagiarize anybody's work, but a famous art teacher told me nothing comes from nothing. Yeah. So you have to look at something in a way. Yeah. And I mean, I think some of the best artists cover up their references, or maybe instead of referencing from one person only, they acquire a bunch of different people. Yeah. So it's silly to me in that sense, where like you get pissed off and there's so much energy put into it. Yeah. And like ganging up on one artist or whatever. That being said, you definitely need manners and don't fucking steal. But
it's a fine line. It's hard because I had it I think once or twice where somebody saw what reference I used and somebody gave me shit, but they didn't really give me shit because I knew these people. So I just get a text message like, hey man, it looks a bit too much like that one, and you know, I'm guilty. I think it was, I'm not gonna say who it was. I think it was once. And but you know, we all draw the same dragon heads from hundreds of years ago, except we all do these tiny things differently. We're all part of the same thing, and that's what's so appealing to me about tattooing too, that you know, I didn't like Art Academy because it was so individualistic, but now we're all part of this big fucking organism called tattooing, and we're all trying to push it forward. So
yeah, definitely. And along with any other type of art, like I think it's evolved the quickest in a way. Like you see so many different styles. I think I was talking to Saeed about this, and there's so many different styles and so many different influences all coming into one art form, where you don't really get that in many different places.
No, that's true.
Maybe the only other art form that is moving that fast, I think, would be like the film industry. Yeah. And the digital type of work. Interesting. But in painting, it's taken hundreds of years. Like every century, pretty much all the paintings look the same, and then the next century you see a difference. Yeah. But in tattooing, it's every 5 to 10 years, it's a new face. Yeah. But I don't know. Part of me says I want it to just slow the fuck down so I can keep up. But the other part of me was like, no, like, let's go. Like,
yeah, definitely.
It's got to go somewhere, and hopefully it goes to a good place.
It's hard to keep up even after 6 years, man. I was like, if I know this and this, then I'll be, you know, a guy. And then now everybody's so much better, getting so fast. It's amazing. Yeah.
But for me, I think I'm giving up on trying to be the guy.
Oh, no. I was just kidding. Yeah. I mean, all I want to be is the best version of myself, I guess. Yeah. Rather than.
And I want to just enjoy the people around me, because I never want to get to that point where I'm like hanging out with somebody and I'm looking over their shoulder to see who else is there. I've had that happen to me before, and I'm just like, that's a shitty feeling. And so it's like, you know, just be cool and be with, you know, the guys that are around you, and, you know, you're there for a reason. Yeah.
That's a good note to end to.
All right. Yeah. All right. Where can we find you on the interwebs?
It's on Instagram. I'm Vincent Penning _Oneness. I don't have my own site, but the shop site is Darkos, like Darkos.
Darkos. How do you spell it?
Yeah, Darkos. How do you call this thing in English? Like just the minus sign?
A dash.
A dash.
Yeah.
Darkos Oneness .nl. So Oneness is ONESS. N-E-S-S. Man, that's hard. You better write this down, bitch. darkosoneness.nl.
Awesome. Thanks for coming, and I look forward to having you when you come back.
Yeah.
To Royal. And hopefully I can see you in Holland.
Oh, yeah. Come over. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you.